Okay, now I know I already did a review on this, but that was only for the Japanese one. So this time I'm going to talk about the dub of Beyblade Burst. Now, I know some people weren't satisfied with the first review I did for Burst because I talked about how this season or series was better than Metal Fury or the Metal Saga, which is true. Burst is much better than the Metal Saga so far, and it's as good as the original trilogy. So again, this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me or not. And I don't want to see in the comments that the Metal Saga is better than Burst. Guys, you have to tell me why. Not just, oh, the Metal Saga is better. No. You gotta tell me why. Now, with that said, let's move on with the review. Now, like the original trilogy and the Metal Saga, they changed some stuff around when the dub came out. Like, they cut some scenes out, like with the original and the Metal Saga, whether they were too violent or because of time. And they changed some of the names for the Beyblades in this series. Like, they changed Valkyrie, Spriggan, Ragnarok, or Rising Ragnarok, Death Scyther, Wyvern, Odin, Neptune, and Unicorn, and Kaiser Kirbius to Valtryek, Spryzen, Raging Rockdivore, King Kirbius, Doomsizer, Wyvron, Odax, Neptrius, and Unicrest. I mean, I like some of the new names for the Beyblades, but there was no need to change them. I don't understand why they started to do this since the Metal Saga and a little bit of the original. Now, unlike the previous seasons or series of Beyblade, where it aired on YTV from Beyblade Season 1 to Shogun Shit, this time it aired on Teletoon, and it aired after Yokai Watch and Dino Froze. If you guys don't know what Dino Froze is, it's a Digimon and Beyblade ripoff, because they use spinning tops and they transform into dinosaurs, like Digimon Season 4. Where they transform into Digimon. And I think the reason why they moved it to Teletoon instead of YTV is because if you guys remember back in 2015, I mentioned this in one of my videos last year, that Teletoon and YTV made an agreement that they would show the YTV shows on Teletoon and the Teletoon shows on YTV. Like I mentioned, on YTV they showed Wayside and 16 and others. And for Teletoon, at the time they were airing Power Rangers, Shitty Super Mega Force, Beyblade Metal Masters, or Metal Garbage as I like to call it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and Pokemon X and Y. I don't remember if they aired Transformers Prime on YTV because I stopped watching YTV in 2011-2012. Well, I sometimes watch YTV, but I only watch it just for the old shows. Well, some of them, because they barely show any of the old shows, maybe like 3 or 5 of them, and some shows that are good, like Make It Pop and Haunting Hour, and the old movies. The rest on YTV is just garbage and is a waste of time. That's why Teletoon is still good, and just this year they brought back Teen Titans. Yeah, the original Teen Titans on Teletoon, which is good. Instead of watching that garbage Teen Titans Go, us Canadians get to watch the original Teen Titans on Teletoon. Not only that, Teletoon mostly airs their old shows, and they also air Teletoon retro shows, and they're doing pretty well. Unlike YTV now, no, it sucks. And everything went downhill after 2009 and a little bit of 2008. I mean, 2010 was okay for YTV, but I think that's when everything was going downhill. But whatever, I digress. Also, this time Nelvana isn't dubbing Beyblade anymore because, well, after the reception and feedback they got from the spin-offs and the Metal Saga, I think everyone was getting sick and tired of the Nelvana dub for Beyblade, and they knew they fricked up. So instead of Nelvana dubbing it, it's dubbed by a different company named Sunrise Incorporated, which I mentioned a couple of times in my videos. If you guys don't know what Sunrise dubbed, they dubbed the new Beat 'em On seasons, which are Crossfire and Fire Blast. And they actually did a pretty good job, and it's much better than Beat 'em on Fire Spirits dub. I don't remember who dubbed that season, but I think it was the same people who dubbed the first season of Beat 'em on. I don't know. There's more things I want to talk about in this video, but that's a topic for another day. Alright, so let's begin with the first episode. Now, the episode name is still the same, but they changed Valkyrie to Valtryek. So, it's still called Let's Go Valkyrie, but they changed it to Valtryek. Now, in the first review, I didn't talk about what happened in the first episode because I didn't really want to spoil anything, even though it came out after I did that video, but whatever. So, this time I'm going to talk about what happened in this episode. Okay, so in the beginning of the episode, it has the same prologue like in the Japanese opening, which is actually not that bad because they did the same thing with Beat 'em on Crossfire, and I think they did the same with Fire Blast. I'm not really sure on that. It's weird because they never done this before with the previous two series. Like, I know they did that with the Japanese version of the Metal Saga, but they didn't do that with the original because they didn't do that yet. So after the prologue, and he's the new Tyson or Takao, Jinga, and Zero. So, loses in the first round. Okay, so since I'm doing the dub reviews now, I'm going to mention what they cut from this episode and the Japanese version. Now, there was a deleted scene in this episode where Rantaro yells at Vault because he fricked up on his launch and his Beyblade was knocked out of the stadium. Yeah. But Sunrise deleted that scene because, oh, it's too violent. We can't have our characters yell at other characters. No, no, no. Let's cut that out. I mean, it's still not as bad as Nirvana's, where in the original, there was a deleted scene where Hero punches Tyson and where Tyson punches Kenny. Yeah. And in the Metal Saga, Benkei gets hit in the balls by his Beyblade in the first episode. Yeah. So, they begin their second match, and once again, Vault's Beyblade goes out of the stadium, and he tries to catch it, but it lands in the equipment room along with him, and he ruins the equipment room. Then the principal comes and tells Vault to clean the equipment room along with Rantaro since he was the opponent of Vault. Yeah, so I'm going to call him Vault from now on. I mean, I sometimes call him Vaulto, but now I'm used to saying Vault now. So, while Vault and Rantaro clean up, Rantaro gives a nickname for himself, and this is where they changed things again. If you guys remember that, Rantaro's nickname in the Japanese version is Boss. And then they changed it to Head Honcho in the dub, which is actually not that bad because it's kind of similar to Boss in a way. So after that, they do clean up the equipment room until they ruin it because Rantaro yelled at Vault again. Yeah, they deleted that scene too. Also, there's a scene where after Rantaro said to Volta that he was a rookie or a novice, Vault's face was like the scream. Yeah. But in the dub, nope. They cut that scene out. Like, it's not even scary or frightening. Like, do you think kids would get scared of this? No! They would laugh. I mean, if Ash did that, or Nate from Yokai Watch, or Naruto, or Yuya, they will laugh. Oh my gosh. Then, Nika and Tokonatsu, yeah, their names are still the same in this. But, Vault calls him Toko instead of Tokonatsu. But it's still the same. Watch an interview of Shu, and of course he's a high-ranking blader like Kai in Season 1. Because they mentioned that Kai was a high-ranking blader, and he was a champion until Tyson defeated him in Episode 7. Yeah, so, like I said in my other reviews of Burst, I like how this season is making homages to the original, which is good because it's been like 17 years since the original came out. So, That's why I prefer Burst over Metal Saga, because they do it right when they're making homages to the original and tributes. Then Vault trains in the same place where every episode of Beyblade was made, from season 1 to Metal Masters. I don't know if they did that with Metal Ass or Metal Fury, but I don't know. And I don't care about Shogun Steel. And here's another thing I have to mention, that Basics is changed to Fundamental. Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge deal for me, and it's not that bad. So, while Vault is training, Shu sees Vault and they have a conversation. And Vault talks about how he's going to beat him in the tournament and he's going to become a champion. But Shu says that he's a novice and he won't beat him. Similar to what Kai said to Tyson. Then Vault, Shu, Rantaro, and the other Bladers participate in the tournament. Then, when Vault was taking his ID picture, he bites his tongue. Yeah, because he was talking and he got distracted by Toku, or Tokonatsu. Then, the first match of the tournament begins and Vault is chosen to be in the first match and he's battling Rantaro. And again, they deleted scene where Vault hits Rantaro's chin when he bumps into him and yells at him again. Rival finish, and a over finish is now a ring out finish, which I prefer that over finish, or it should have been called a stadium out finish. That would have been better and made sense, but I guess ring out finish is fine. Then the first match begins and Vault loses to Rantaro again. Yeah, and it looks like Vault was going to get upset, but nope, he gets excited because the battle is intense. Yeah, that's why I like Vault, because he's not annoying, and his personality is a lot like Tyson or Takao, because he's cocky, a big mouth, and has a big appetite. Yeah. So, that's why I prefer him over Jenga and Zero. And he's my second favorite main character in Beyblade. First would be Tyson, of course. Then the second round starts, and before they launch, Vault tilts his launcher, and Shu, Wakia, and Dyna notices. Yeah, and this is where I have to mention their voice. Of course, Vault is voiced by a girl. Shu's voice sounds a lot like Yuri Lowenthal. If you guys don't know who he is, for all you weebs out there, he's the voice of Sasuke, Ben 10, and Burkhart from Beat 'em On, and other characters that he voiced. And Wakia, yeah, he's also voiced by a guy, also with Dyna, which I like, because I did not like their Japanese voices, because, okay, I understand Dyna and Vault, because they're kids, but Wakia, really? Oh my gosh. They even did the same thing with Tala and Brian's voice in the Japanese version. And in the Metal Saga, Masamune's voice was voiced by a girl as well. Like, oh my gosh. But Wakia also voiced characters from B and Neon, and he's also the older Goten from Dragon Ball Z. And I also have to mention that Dyna's name is now changed to Daigo. Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad, but I kind of prefer Dyna over his dub name. And also current BS are voiced by guys as well. I think they were in the Japanese version, but I don't know. Yeah, and their names have been changed to Keru and Bisu. Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad, but kind of prefer current BS. And also, Rantaro is the voice of Corey from B Neon, Finn from Stormhawks, Danny from Monster Buster Club, and Ed from Ed and Eddie. Yeah. And there's also some voice actors and voice actresses that are Canadian. And some American. Alright, so anyways, Vault and Rantaro battle. And they changed the special moves for Valkyrie. Instead of Rush Shoot, it's now changed to Rush Launch. Yeah, it's okay, I guess. But I kind of prefer Rush Shoots over that. And then Vault and Rantaro released their Beast, and the second match is over with Rantaru loses with the burst finish. Yeah, and the episode ends with Rantaru congratulating Vault, and he advances to the next round. So, is this episode still good? And does it hold up? Yeah, it does. It's still better than the Malasaga's first episode and the series. Now, there were some things that I didn't like and that pissed me off in this episode, like the deleted scenes, which we have to go through again. This is the third time in the series. Like, can Sunrise not cut scenes? I think they also did the same thing with Beat 'em on Crossfire and Fire Blast, but I don't know. Oh my gosh. Next thing you know, there's gonna be a scene in Burst where someone punches a character in the face. And referring the Beyblades as Bay again. Or as I like to call it, gay, because it rhymes with gay. I mean, they don't use it too much, because they only say it like, what, 5 times? I mean, that's not that bad, but at least it's not like in the Malassaga, which they kept repeating that garbage. Like, oh, bay, gays, bays, bay this, bay that. Like, shut the hell up! I mean, I guess it's fine. But I wish they said Blade again. Because like I said, the design of the Burst Beyblades is a mix between the plastics, or the metal alloys, the HMSs, and the MFBs. Mostly the HMSs. And it's like a blade. It shreds things, which is like a Beyblade. So why couldn't they say Blade again? Oh! Because they said it in the last series, so why not say it again? Okay, now, before I end the video, might as well talk about the dub theme song. The new Beyblade theme song, it's actually not that bad. And it's not a translated version of the Japanese theme again. Thank God. Also for the opening, they used clips from the Japanese opening, which is pretty cool to be honest. And when I heard the Japanese theme, I liked it right away. Now, the theme song genre for this one is techno, which is actually not that bad. They did the same thing for Digimon Fusion's theme song, and it turned out pretty good, as well as the Beat 'em on Crossfire and Fire Blast theme. And, like I always say, those themes, along with the new Burst theme, is much better than the Malasaga's theme. I mean, it's okay. But it did have to be a translated version of the Japanese theme. It could have been Let's Beyblade. Or something else. Yeah. But again, I wish it was a remix or a cover of Let's Beyblade or the original theme, because if you can do the same thing with Power Rangers, Pokemon, and DBZ, why not this? But overall, the theme song is really good, and it's not that bad. Yeah, so that's it for this video, and make sure to check out the original video I did a while back, and make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Link will be in the description below. And what do you guys think of the dub of Burst? Do you think it's good, or bad, or does it suck? Or do you think it's just mediocre? Let me guys know. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, comment, subscribe, and like always, I'm out. Peace.